guys. Welcome once again. It's your girl, Amara La Negra, and you're listening to Exactly Amara, a production of iHeart. Thank you so much for tuning in, and obviously, don't forget to give us those 5 stars that you always do. With that being said, by the way, estoy un poquito ronca. I'm a little bit sick, so my voice is a little deep. So today, things will be slightly different. I wanted to just basically take you guys in a day in the life of me, Amara La Negra, because I feel that social media and just people's imagination overall, I think that people assume or think that artists or influencers' life is I don't know, like a magical fantasy life where you just wake up and, you know, you have this big buffet in your house and you wake up in a silk robe and you drive your Ferrari and it's like, that's not really realistic. That's not necessarily the truth for all of us. For some of us, whatever. So I just wanted to be open and just basically take you through a day of mine, especially now that things have changed for me as a mom. Things are way different now. I think one of the reasons why I'm still sick is because I haven't had time to rest. My girls take so much time. I love them so much, but they take so much of my time that finding that balance really is a challenge. And to make this conversation even more interesting, I want to invite my producers, my friends, my buddies, my partners, slight co-host on this show, Arlene and my boy, Alex. What's good, y'all? How are you guys doing today?
I'm ready to hear all about your life, Amara, because we can hardly keep track, my friend.
That is true.
Yeah, so many people have always written so many things to you on your social media pages. And I think it's good to kind of just like inform them exactly what you said. The glitz and the glamour doesn't come with a little bit of dirt underneath your fingernails, right?
Exactly. And I think that it's important also to just, I hope that today's podcast can be motivational to some of the people listening, but I just want to keep it honest. And I think that that's the reason why this is Exactly Amara, where I am real honest, authentic, transparent. And I'm just going to tell you what it is. You know, I do a little bit of everything. You got to, especially these days as an artist, as an entertainer, or whatever the case may be, you got to be able to do more than one thing. You can't just be I'm a rapper, I'm a singer. No, you got to be able to do everything. And here we sing, we dance, we rap, we host, we're authors, designers, you know, all types of entrepreneurs. You know, it's a little tough, but you got to do it these days.
Now you have 2 beautiful children, and that must obviously take a ginormous percentage of your day, time, and effort for sure. So can you run for the audience a little bit of how your day starts? Like, are you the type of person that wakes up early? Do you like to work out? What is it that goes on? I mean, the kids keep you up all night, am I right? Like, enlighten us a little bit here for those who are listening in that are trying to really push themselves and need a little motivation.
For all the moms out there, you're doing a great fucking job, okay? If nobody's told you, you're doing an amazing job. You're great. And you're a super woman, honestly. I am learning to be that woman now, and it is definitely a challenge. I'm making it happen regardless. My girls don't sleep all through the night yet. I can't wait till that day comes. But baby steps. And in my mind, I wish that I could work out. I work out in my mind, laying down in bed. I promised myself that I would figure out a way to make time to work out every day. It's very difficult. Pero dice mi mamá que más hace el que quiere que el que puede. Like, if you really want to accomplish something, you'll figure out a way to make it happen. So I am going to, you know, try to put in those 30 minutes, 40 minutes, at least an hour a day for myself. How? I don't know, but I'm going to make it work. I wake up in the morning. One is sleeping, one is up. Sometimes both of them are sleeping, changing diapers, you know, preparing formula, preparing milk, giving it to them, getting on my phone. First thing I do in the morning is get on my Instagram, you know, check out the chisme, what's happening, who said what, And here's one rule that I do for myself. This has helped me my whole life. I stopped doing it for a while because life can sometimes como que get you, you know, out of track. But I always figure out a way how to do 3 things productive for my career. I should do it for my health and for whatever. I always look for 3 things, whether it is to send a DM to someone important, a producer, a writer, an opportunity, seek for an audition, seek for 3 things, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's to organize my schedule, write a song, listen to music, be productive. 3 things daily that will add some type of value to my career. I always feel that it's important to move forward. Do something that's going to help you move forward. If you sit back down at the end of the day and realize that today was productive, but I really didn't do anything that's going to help me for the next day, that's going to help me get better, that's going to help me make some type of money, then you just wasted a day. So I always do that. And whether it is that I am, preparing for my podcast or getting ready to do the reality show or do a music video or go to the studio or whatever, I'm always doing something in that lane. And then on top of that, I also daily handle my real estate, whether it is preparing the next Airbnb, whether it is something is broken, something needs to be fixed, paying, payroll, all those things. When you have several properties, you consistently have to be, upgrading and fixing things. So that's another thing. It's a lot. No te voy a mentir. I don't have, yo soy una gitana, when we're here, but I'm saying my life itself, I don't have like a 9 to 5. You wake up every day, you have I don't have a schedule. My life rotates and changes daily. My girls have somewhat made me feel as if you have to create some type of stability for them. So therefore for them, I make sure that they have some type of stability, but me, I'm just all over the place.
Well, that's funny that you say that because you don't have a 9 to 5. Right. You're making a living for yourself. And as someone who has done that before and continues to do it in some type of form and way outside of what I'm doing here, it's hard. It's hard because you got to make time for everything. Am I right, Arlene?
Yeah. And I was going to say that as somebody who wants to have kids one day, that scares the shit out of me, Amara.
Yes.
That scares the shit out of me because I'm already super busy with my career and with work. I can't even imagine what it would be like to juggle a child. ¿Y qué voy a hacer? I'm working. I work from home. And so I've got, I'm recording a podcast with Amara La Negra, and then aquí va a estar el niño llorando. Right. I have to be like, can we pause, please? So that I can, like, what kind of advice? I don't even know. I'm scared.
And not even,
what kind of advice would you tell?
In my case, not 1, but 2 is like for someone who was raised by themselves with no siblings, not around any cousins or any kids like that. And my mom, because it was just the 2 of us, she made me have to mature faster than I probably should have. I was working and thinking of responsibilities and things like that. And like my mind was always goal-oriented and work-oriented, and I have to superarme and become better and get to lo otro, like all those types of things. Having kids now, it's definitely a challenge. I love to be challenged because it brings out the best of me. It changes my character into the best version of me. I realize of how strong I am, how capable I am, how amazing I am, that I am able to handle all these things and do it by myself. Is it tiring? Yes. Does it wear me out? Yes. Do I not have the energy all the time? Yes. Do I still want to be young and feel free and go out and go to brunches and have mimosas and go to the club and do all these things? Yes. Can I do it? No. Does your life changes once you have kids? Yes. That's part of life. Our parents had to do it too. That's just the way of life. But I feel like it's a sacrifice that I'm doing now. Eventually, once they get a little bit older, in my mind, as soon as they're like at least 10 years old, y'all's getting a job. I don't care, period. Y'all's going to get a vending machine. I'm going to help you get a vending machine, and you're going to make, even if it's $300, $200, you're making some type of income for yourself. I want to teach you how to create, money on your own so that you could be independent. La otra, I don't know, if you want to do whatever it is, I'm going to put your ass to work. Because one, I think is important, is important for them, is important for me. And eventually they'll be able to help out. Right now they're little y es un sacrificio. But I think that these days it's important to have your family no matter what. For those that want to have children, amen. For those that don't want to have children because of the responsibility, I would suggest for you to, reconsider it and think a little bit deeper, because you're thinking like that now because you're young, full of life, and there's so much that you want to do now. But with time, you'll get older, you'll get tired, you'll slower, you'll slow down. And eventually it's such a great feeling to know that these little people that you raised, these little people that you created, they're going to have your back. They're going to be right there with you. They'll be your support system. They're going to, wash you and clean your ass when you can't do it yourself. So it's a sacrifice, but even the relationship that I have with my mom, those that know me know that my mom is my best friend. We're together all the time. She's the light of my eyes. And I am there for her. She doesn't have to work. She doesn't have to do anything. I'm right here for you because I know all the sacrifices that she did for me. So she knows she can count on me. But it would suck to get to your elderly years and know that you're by yourself. Because, yeah, you may have your nephews, but your nephews have their mother, you know? They have their father. They will be their priority. Whenever they can make some time for you, they'll do that. But it's just amazing to know the love that your children have for you, that está difícil ahora mismo, pero it's a beautiful feeling. And I'm saying this with having, 3 hours of sleep.
That's the incredible part, right? Where you have to put in the time. I know, for instance, like people that are about to have kids that don't have a traditional 9-to-5, that are trying to work. So that's some great advice to anyone who's listening right now. Let's roll it back a little bit here. You talked a little bit about your ventures in real estate and everything that's happening outside of the country, right? Because that's where you are holding your real estate ventures. How is that dynamic? Living here, having to travel back and forth, how do you handle? Are you staying there long term? Do you come back? How hard has it been for you to open up this Airbnb business in
originally, because I was having a lot of somewhat free time, I moved to the Dominican Republic for a few months, and that allowed me to get to know the market, get to do a couple of mistakes, because you will make mistakes, you will lose money, you will somewhat get robbed. We all go through it, and you have to have big guts. You have to have big balls to get into the real estate, industry without necessarily knowing of it. You have to take a gamble. You have to be a risk taker. That's just what it is. This is like playing the lottery, except that now I'm betting in, cement and I'm betting in real estate. I'm betting in houses and land and property. That's just basically what it is. Sometimes you're going to win real big. Sometimes you're going to lose a little bit. But those moments that you lose become lessons and you learn from it. So it took me some time to be out there, to learn the system, to now understand that it's a great business. If tomorrow I were to lose everything, I know that I have equity in all these other different properties that I can sell it, flip it, and I will have some type of money somewhere, instead of just having the money in the bank or investing it in business is good. But some businesses could do great today and go to hell tomorrow. But properties always go up. So I am happy with the investments that I've done because, like I've always said before, if you've heard my podcast before, I'm a big believer in generational wealth. I know that I am the only, breadwinner. I am the only provider for my mother and my children. And if God were, forbid, something were to happen to me tomorrow, I know that I've somewhat given them something. They have something to work with. Unlike myself, coming from an immigrant mother, agradecida con mi madre, but without having that much, education and knowledge on things, she didn't, really prepare me for tomorrow. She didn't really have anything besides giving me knowledge and, preparing me as a person. But financially, no. So I just want to be able to do that for them. And the Dominican Republic just gave me different flexibilities that I don't have in the States. You still get your money in dollars. You pay your property taxes once when you buy the property, then you don't pay any more property taxes. The property belongs to you. And there's just so many great benefits that I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it in my country. It makes sense for me. I can Airbnb it. I have a company that handles it. And I'm just here, and while I'm here, I'll work on other things.
Amara, how do you decide what... You probably get a lot of business opportunities come your way. How are you deciding what you want to go into and what you maybe want to wait on, or
Mina,
you don't want to, pass on?
I do my best to do everything, at least when it comes to work for myself, right? There's a movie, there's a scene, there's a this, there's a whatever, there's a radio, there's a show, there's a booking. I say yes to everything. Vamos, let's do it. Because I'm naturally a risk taker. You never know where your luck is. Dice mi mamá que la suerte está en la planta de los pies. Your luck is on the bottom of your feet. If you don't move, you will never know where your success, where your opportunities are at. Sometimes we can become complacent. So to me, it's like when an opportunity comes to me, I know that God has sent that my way. Why didn't he send it to somebody else? He sent it to me. So, okay, cool. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, bueno. But when it comes to business itself, it depends how much the money, what type of money we're talking about. It depends how prepared you are. And you have to believe in it. It has to make sense to you. Some projects don't make sense to me. Some other ones don't make sense to me. It makes sense to somebody else. And then I see that somebody else was able to become successful with that same idea. It just wasn't meant for me directly. So I'm pretty open. I like to try different things because you just never know. At this moment, I'm not going to lie. I am looking to create another business as soon as I have an opportunity. Something that instead of, for example, which I'm happy with my real estate, but my real estate is like a long-term. Once it pays off, bueno, my girls will be able to have that money. My grandchildren will be able to have that money. Or if they want to sell it, they can flip it, get that money and reinvest it in another property and get more equity out of that. There's so many things that you can do with that. But I do want to have a business where I have daily income, a business that's basically, I want to provide some type of customer service where I can create some type of daily income, because we all know the entertainment industry is a gamble, is a roller coaster. Sometimes you're hit, you're the hot thing in the town, and sometimes you're not. And when you're not, the money goes down, the opportunities go down. So then what do you do then? I've seen so many artists and celebrities that have been so wealthy, so rich, they've blown that money up, and then you see them in the streets. You see them working a regular job. You see that they don't have anything. I don't want to be that person. I've learned from those examples by watching. So I want to be able to, while I still have my momentum, while I'm still working, while I'm still young, create different sources of income, create different businesses that if something were to happen, we are still good.
You've given the audience a lot of knowledge, and you've told a lot about, the behind the scenes of what you're doing and how you're getting there, and obviously what you're looking for in the future. But how do you stay motivated and focus on these goals, especially during times of like rejection or setbacks? Like anytime like you are putting a lot of time into something and it just falls flat. How do you deal with that?
Well, because I'm naturally ambitious, it's hard for me to let go of things. And that's why I've always been a fixer. I can fix it. I will work my way. I can fix this. Like it becomes then like a personal challenge. Like if somebody else could do it, why can't I? I can do this. I can fix it. And I will go at it and go at it and go at it and go till I annoy myself and I get it done. And then it's just such a self-satisfaction to know, coño, I did it. I freaking knew it. I did it. And I've had people be like, damn, I really didn't think you were going to be able to pull that off. And I'm like, you see, like, I know. So just having that personal challenge for yourself to know that you can is important. Taking time to see where you're at now, where you came from is important. Looking back at like 5 years ago, where were you? What were you doing? Looking at how far you've come. That's important to keep you motivated you can go back into that space. You can't allow yourself, because you've come so far. You got to keep pushing, and you don't know what else is coming for your future. I never in my life, once I was sleeping in my car, I never thought that I would be the owner of so many properties. I didn't have where to sleep. Now I have too many places, that I could barely handle. Can you touch
on that? You were sleeping in your car. How did that
I was homeless
at
one point, and I didn't know too much about the music industry. I allowed my emotions and my personal feelings to get mixed up with my business by being, emotionally involved with the person that was administrating and managing my career. And one thing messed up the other one. It was a domino effect. I ended up sleeping in my car for like 3 months, parked outside McDonald's and Walmart's because it was 24 hours and I felt safer, there. Showering inside the Walmarts and the McDonald's with wipies and all those things. Like it was a really bad stage in my life. That trauma created the woman that I am today, because I feel that the trauma of being homeless made me want to purchase as many properties as I could so that I would never have to be back in that space. So anytime I have an opportunity to invest in a property, in a business, in something, I do it. So a veces lo que sucede conviene. Sometimes God, makes you go through certain things to build your character and see what you're going to do with that challenge. So, I'll be stressed out, but I'm never afraid of, damn, this is too hard. I be thinking more of like, how do I fix it? Like, what do I do now? Instead of like, dwelling over spilled milk. Oh my God. No. What am I going to do now?
Right.
You're not a dweller, Amara? You don't dwell? Because I dwell. I'll think about one thing and I will dwell the shit out of that one thing.
I'll dwell a little bit, pero then I como que me sacudo, como que I snap out of it like, okay, dale. So what do we do now? How do we fix the problem? Problem solution. What's the problem? How do I need to fix it. I can piensa like.
I'm the same way. I'm a solution-oriented person. I do dwell on things. I think
most men, no? They're more like fixers. Men like to...
I do, but you know what's funny is like I'll sit like, there's certain times I'll have a talk with someone or something Like, I'm the type of person that, like, if I make one mistake, I felt like the whole entire, like, if a domino decided to fall sideways instead of falling forwards, I felt like now everything else is messed up. Right now, the whole line is messed up, and I'll dwell on that. And it'll take me time for me to realize it's okay to create that mistake, because you're just going to get up and you have the ability to continue moving forward and fixing things, or continue to find a solution to move forward, which that's a great way to look at it, especially if you're homeless.
But then why are we so hard on ourselves?
But then that's why that mentality is important. It's okay. We all have different mechanisms. It's okay to dwell a little bit, but as long as you can get back on your feet and snap out of it. Some people don't know how to do that. Some people will get stuck in that space. And then that's why I once met a very wealthy billionaire man. He's vice president of a country in Africa. And he booked me. That's a long story. He booked me out there, and, you know, he took me to his palace, and his palace was full of gold and una cosa impresionante. I've never seen such a thing, nonetheless, here in the States. And then we traveled into different parts in, you know, the city, and then I saw there was a lot of poverty, and I felt bad. And we were in his Rolls Royce, una película durísima, and I asked him, do you ever feel bad when you see the way that your people live, knowing that your house is full of gold and the way that you live and the style that you have and everything else?
Wow, you asked him
and
that, huh?
You know what he told me? And that has always stuck with me. And ever since, I see things differently. He said, sometimes I do, but then I learned that we're not all meant to be rich. In order for there to be rich, there has to be poor. In order for there to be a boss, there must be employees. And once you think about things that way, it is true. Unfortunately, we're not all meant to be rich. We're not all meant to be successful. We're not all meant, because then where is the balance of life? However, you can also see how some people that are born in the gutter, in the worst conditions in life, because of who they are and that fire that they have within themselves, you'll see that if they have to swim across a river, catch whatever it is to go to school, to learn, because they have a vision of what they want to do, because the consistency, the drive, and then they become something out of themselves. Those are the people that are chosen to become successful. Things can't be given to you. You have to work for it. You have to challenge yourself. That's just the way of life. So unfortunately, it seems good, it seems bad, but it's really up to you. You have to have that drive inside of you that's going to get you out of where you're at to become what you want to be. Nobody can put that in you except you.
That's so true. And this is why, you know, today we wanted to do this episode. We've always pulled the curtain back a little bit on what you're doing, but we've never really exposed it as how you deal with, from the beginning of your day to the middle of your day, to the challenges of real estate, to the challenges of having to stay on top of your game. Because if you don't work, and if you don't try, or if you don't even take those challenges, like you just said, there is no money coming in.
And that's scary.
And it's a very difficult thing.
As someone who's been in the business for as long as you have, Amara, how are you seeing the music industry changing? Because now you don't need to do the English crossover market. There's like this misconception that you got to change who you are in order to be successful. But there are some artists that are super popular now and that are coming out with Spanish albums. How are you processing all of it? The big changes that are happening?
The social media and the internet overall has expanded all these opportunities for so many artists, you know? And I think that now the American audience is getting to really realize how big the Latino community is, how big we are, how influential we are worldwide. Like, our music is impactful, and we are able to create trends, you know? We are a thing. We've always been a thing. It's just that y'all realized it a little late, but we've always been here. And I think that once the American market realized that as well, for the Latino community for a very long time, hitting the American market was the dream, was the goal, was the purpose. And now that we see things switch, we see a lot of hip hop artists, you know, trying to get on and do featurings with Latino artists and all these other things, or even say a couple of Spanish words here and there. It's like, oh, look at that. You know, you realize that we're here. And I just like to see that we're able to support each other musically. We're able to combine our music and our sound. And even for those that don't speak any Spanish, music is a universal language. You know, it's just a vibe. You may not understand, even if you were to put some music in, I don't know, some some Indian music, some Asian music. We may not understand, but we feel the music. We know there's a vibe. We know what it is. So just being able to feel that, I think it's just an amazing thing to see, you know, how music has been able to bring us together somewhat. So I love it. I think that is great. And I also love to see how women are becoming empowered in the music industry, especially in the urban side of it. You know, there's a lot of urbanas really standing up for themselves, for their culture, for their sound, for their community, their overall their cultura. So yeah, I think music is getting bigger, is getting better, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
Let's wrap it all up like if this was a vlog, a Get Ready With Me vlog. How do we wind down and start and then wind back up, right? But how do we end the night for you?
Honestly, I wish that I could say I just, have a glass of wine and just, watch Netflix and relax after a bubble bath. But it's a fucking lie. It's not true. How do I unwind? I unwind when I have certain opportunities, probably when I'm driving or in the shower or whatever. It's my moment to disconnect. I love to listen to like Sade or listen to some type of, or maybe even EDM music or something that's going to make me chill. But not, one of my biggest ways to unwind, and it's really not unwinding because my brain is still functioning at 1,000. There's this app called Motivate, and I put on my Motivate app, and sometimes you need that boost. I need somebody to tell me how great I am, even though that I know it, but you need to have that push, como que vamos, dale. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you just need to hear it and sacudirte and be like, all right, let's get back to it. People like myself, when you are an entrepreneur, when you are your own business, you are the functioning machine, it's hard to unwind 1,000% because everybody depends on you. You have a whole team of people that they pay their bills, they maintain their family based off what you do. So it's kind of hard to completely, disconnect. When I have a chance, that it doesn't happen a lot, maybe sex. No, that's not true. Because even when I'm having sex, I'll still be like, Coño, can you hurry up? I need to make this call. I think
you're still crunching numbers in your head.
Yeah, when I'm having sex, I'm like,
it must not be good sex.
No, the sex can be great, but then in the middle, I could be like, shit, did I text Arlene or Alex? I have this thing.
That happens so often.
You are not thinking about Arlene and Alex when you're...
No, but it's true. It's true. And crazy enough, even when you're having sex or even when you're trying to have some moment for yourself that you're trying to relax or whatever, even for those that like to smoke or for whatever it is, you may want to dance, whatever.
Very good. I mean, this was very interesting to hear how Amara's day is and how unlikely it is for her to unplug and unwind, which is perfectly fine because every person does it their way. Amara,
I'm just glad to know that no matter what Amara's doing, even if she's in the bedroom, she's thinking about us.
She's thinking of us. Yeah, I'm so glad. This gorgeous face is what you see.
No, honestly. I mean, your life is different from mine and mine is different from yours. But personally, stay motivated, grind. I don't care what anybody says. Don't ever be complacent, because the only thing that keeps you motivated into the next day of, waking up and living your life is the energy, the ambitions, the grind, the excitement of another day. So, never become complacent. Always wonder what else you're capable of doing. What else is in you? Take your time to rest if you're capable of doing it and, winding down. I still don't know how to do that. But I always say the worst feeling in life is regretting not having done. Don't regret. I should have done this. I had an idea. I didn't do this. Get your ass up and do it. Don't let it be too late. And just because you have the energy today doesn't mean you're going to have it tomorrow. Life is unpredictable. You're here today. We don't know what tomorrow holds. And you might not even be here tomorrow to make those dreams happen. So if you have it, do it today. Don't procrastinate. No, I'm going to do it tomorrow. No, haga ni mela tomorrow. Do it right now. If there's a call you're meaning to do it now. What's the worst that can happen? You're still going to go to sleep at the end of the day. Tomorrow's another day, whatever. Just go get it. Go get it. Be fearless and go get it. It's never too late. Don't ever feel it's too late. Estoy muy vieja. I'm too old. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too esto. I don't got time. Make the time. Make the time because in life it's all about how bad do you want it. And if you want it bad enough, you're going to figure out a way to make it happen. So that's my takeaway for today. And with that being said, Arlene, Alex, thank you so much for joining me today, for being my support system and always being here con todas mis locuras. I am so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much. Well, I hope that I was able to motivate some of you guys as well. And that's why I want to thank you once again for listening to Exactly Amara. And of course, go find me on all my social media platforms at Amara La Negra ALN, Amara La Negra ALN, and of course on Instagram at Exactly Amara. Make sure to find me on YouTube. Catch my show by searching for My Cultura podcast and clicking on Exactly Amara. This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura podcast network. And for more podcasts from iHeart, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite show. It's your girl Amara La Negra. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next week.